Cost of living. So here we are, man. That was a long lead up in an interview, but let's get to it. Cost of living, the cost of living in parentheses, cost of living.
So you could call it cost of living or the cost of living. That's why the parentheses there. Either.
It's out now. You did a few things, in my opinion, that broke the mold of what a lot of artists are doing, and I'm so happy to see it. You're supposed to release albums on a Friday, so that way Billboard can scan your sales through a full 1 week period to get you onto chart position, right? So you drop this record on a Tuesday night. So you literally only have from this Tuesday to this Friday to run up the streams for chart position in the next week. That's really breaking the mold, and I'm gonna tell you why I love it. Because at the end of the day, it's not always about the total stream count; it's about impact. And since everybody is putting out their music on Fridays, by you dropping on a Tuesday night, it's like less competition. It's like less sharks swimming in the water that day. Maybe you could just talk about if that was intended. Like, what was the reason for dropping it unconventionally?
I'm super against the establishment type boy. All my friends know that. So I don't really I'm not going to be an artist who bends to industry standards. So it's just like, we said we drop it in June.
We drop. That's what it is.
Dropping in June. And June 30th just felt right because it was like, some people thought it was going to be on my birthday, which was the 2nd. I'm like, nah. And the 30th just felt right. It was right around the release party. So
and that's unique too. I didn't think about that. That gives everyone who hasn't heard it yet a couple days to learn the records. So like, you're gonna get to this release party and people are gonna know these songs.
So that's the goal. People know these songs. It's like, wow, I'm gonna lose it. You know what I mean? But
yeah. I guess speaking of the release party, what was the, I guess, like, how important do you feel it is to bring people together to hear a project in person, as opposed to letting people hear it on their own time?
My experience is it's integral to everybody who knows me in Philadelphia knows me from doing that. Like, anybody who says they respect my art knows me from, they might follow me on the internet now, but over the years they did. My internet following just from the past year and a half, 2 years. You know what I mean?
Yes, because you've been gassing. That's fine.
I'm a real life artist though. You know what I mean? So before, and I'm a 90s kid at heart. So like the phone shit, it was times from 2014, 2017, I just wouldn't even do social media for months. Like, I was just like, ew, like, you know what I mean? So, but I would throw parties. You know what I mean? Yeah. So people knew who I was, like, in real life. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? I have a network, and sometimes I think we lose sight of that in this era of like social media. Like, I don't care about blue checks. Blue checks follow me. You know what I mean? I'm in real life. People know me. Like, but I walk up to these people and say, "Hey," in real life. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the difference. It's nothing, because they people too. Like the social media thing. You know what I mean? I know for a fact I can pull out more people, especially in Philly, than a lot of people with a blue check. You know what I mean? And that's just real life. So I think it's integral that an artist has a real life presence.
I've seen it. You know what I mean? The power of social media is not as powerful as people think.
No.
You got to be dope in real life. And being dope in real life, pardon the pun, it's a cost. You know what I mean? There's a cost of living. There's a cost of living in a certain way. Like, if you want to be a pillar of any scene or any community, there's a cost. You know what I mean? Like, just to go to other people's shows and events, you need a budget to support other people to get that support back. And you said that you came up with the title for this right around the last album, which was a while ago. What was the moment? Like, what inspired it? Like, what was it like for Ronnie Riggles when you're like, I'm gonna make an album called Cost of Living? Like, what was that like?
I was at dinner with my parents, and I think my dad had just said the phrase, but he's talking houses. Like, he just said it so casually, but he didn't know. It was one of those freeze moments for me. Everybody else around me just still going, and I'm like, in more ways than one. You know what I mean? From all my trippy hallucinogenic experiences, I'm like, I can really apply this, like, spiritually. Like, it was genuinely from a convo at dinner with my parents, man. I just remember hearing him say cost of living. And I said, wow.
Now, you just used a very interesting word that, as a producer, I never use this word to describe this album, but I will now. And I do feel like there's a strong spiritual element lyrically to this project. I don't know you to be a religious or very spiritual person, but now that I think about it, and I'm looking at the list of the songs, and I'm thinking about some of the lyrics in here, and I'm like, wow, like maybe this joint is a little bit deeper than the surface of just what is the cost of living, you know? Like I read something recently that it said it takes like throughout history like 4,000 or 5,000 ancestors to get to your birth.
Mm.
Like you got your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, you know what I mean? And it multiplies. And if you go all the way back in time, it might be 5,000 ancestors for each birth that's happening right now. And it's like you have a line on the album. You said, "I feel the spirits with me, and I gotta pay homage." Is that something that you feel like you really feel like you gotta give weight to the fact that so much came before us?
People ask me how you write so fast, how you come up with melody. It's really sometimes I don't even feel like it's me. Like I really, that's the thing about, that's what I mean about the feeling. Like it can be. Like sometimes I feel like it's voices that they just take over. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just incoherent. I'm just a vessel projecting a message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At times it's for, you know what I mean? I really feel spirits with me, especially when it comes musically. You feel that. That is like, you know what I mean? People don't know me as really very spiritual or religious, because that is my sanctuary right there in the music. Like that's where I really tap in.
Yeah.
I feel God right there, like with the music. So that's just.
But I know as a musician, like when I put my hands on the guitar or I put my hands on the piano, like I believe it's something stronger and bigger than me that's creating what I'm creating. You know what I mean? I feel like if we tap into these energies, that's how we'll get to greatness. So it's kind of interesting to hear you say that, because now I'm like really rethinking some of these songs. You know what I mean?
Man, it's deeper, man. A lot of it, I think first listen, people gonna catch a vibe and be like, I like this. Yeah. And then you're gonna go back and listen. There's definitely a lot of purposeful things that are like, I think it's gonna fly over people's heads. That's how I write. Like
there's a bunch that went over my, like I'm still catching. I've mixed some of these songs. I've been working on these songs for like months and months and months, and I'm still catching some of the metaphors, some of the rhymes, and
try to pack them in there as many as I can, man. Hopefully they look back and say he's not just saying he's great.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about a couple of these songs. Another unconventional thing that you did that I absolutely love is the intro is 2 songs put together. But I'm glad the album's out now and I can just enjoy it as a consumer. But as a creator, like I actually don't even remember how that happened. Like, what was the inspiration to put those 2 songs together to make Gorilla, the intro to the album?
So those 2 records were made in the same day, but separately.
Wow, I don't even remember that.
We made them the same day, but there were 2 songs, and then we're talking intro. We're like, yo, this could be an intro.
Yeah.
But what if it was a 2-part intro? Like because it was short a little bit. It was like hot, but we're like,
yeah, all together it's 6 minutes.
Because we made them on the same day, they had the same energy. Like I was on like a darker, like, you know what I mean? I was like really in the bag. That was like the same day. So it was like, I remember you being like, let's try it. Like, I'm like, let's make it a 2-part song. You like this? You took the whole file and you just, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like the whole way from that session, and we're just like, all right, this is one song. And it was like, it sounded great off each other.
You know, I got to give a shout out to Propellerhead Reason. It's the only music software I know where you can open up multiple sessions at the same time. So like Pro Tools, you have to close a session to open another one. But in Reason, I could have 3-4 sessions open at the same time, and I can copy and paste between sessions. And I don't know if this would have happened if it wasn't for that program and having those songs open at the same time. I don't know if you can off the top, but I can. I'm horrible remembering lyrics. But the hook at the end of the second part of Gorilla, it's like I can't compromise. You are my demise.
I can't compromise. You're not my demise. You were poltergeist, scary in the light. I'm prepared to die. You can't take my fight. You can't take my wings. I'm no chicken fried. Like, you know what I mean? I did a little satirical at the end, like, all right, let's lighten the mood slightly.
Man, when I get to that, when I'm you know, because I haven't really listened, but as I've been working on those two songs and putting them together, but I feel like every time I get to that last hook and that second part, it's like such a payoff. It's like almost like we could have just ended the album right there on the first song. You know
It's
what I mean?
crazy,
Like,
bro. It was
yeah.
yo, man. That first one was like, wow, this is what y'all about to put me through, and it's the intro. So it's like, yeah, that was a fucking movie. It was like that,
and it deserves a movie. We definitely need a video for that, John.
Yeah.
Yo, let's get into it. So the first visual from the album is for the second song, which, you know, was really the first song on the album because the first John's the intro. So let's talk about Times. And this John is so creative. The video we're going to attach to the interview so people can see this video, man. Like, now that it's out and people can hear the song, watch the video, please talk about the creative process behind the song and the video for Times.
The record, yeah, I mean, that was another one, album mode. We cooking up, heard that melody that just felt like the wind to me. I always say that about Times. The melody you play, it just felt like the wind. So I'm just start screaming in my head. And that's when that line about spirits coming in, you know what I mean? Felt. So, and then we had the grime drop, right? The grime drop comes out of nowhere because it's just like the beat just floating. It's like, but it's so clean.
Yeah,
it's so
different.
Clean. It was like, all right, I gotta run this joint. So I just started running it. You know what I mean? One verse, it was perfect. Doubled up that hook, gave it a little bridge in there. You know what I mean? With the like similar melody as the hook. And we constructed a whole beautiful record. Like, you know what I mean? From the time the little mini voice breakdown, the auto tune, stripping it down, bringing it right back. Like,
and you know what's funny is relationships in the game are so important. Like, I was working with some artists that for my birthday, literally a month before we cut that record, I got gifted for my birthday a guitar. And I took that guitar to the studio. I spent like 5-6 weeks recording maybe 20 or 30 guitar loops a day, like spending about an hour a day over the course of weeks, just recording myself playing guitar. And that was a guitar part that I used with that guitar, you know what I mean? That led to us creating that song and the single. Like, I would have never made that beat if I didn't have that guitar. So like Times is something that really came from, for me at least, it came from experimenting, like literally forcing myself to sit down and play guitar. The visual is animated. So you gotta tell the people, man, how did the visual come together? Like, what is up with that, John?
Oh, my guy, E.L. Ehrman Art. Go follow him right now. Hands down, one of the most talented people I know. The most genuine people I know. I showed him. I knew he did. He went to New York and started. He's always an artist, but he went to New York, started fine-tuning his craft, and then he did a small clip with Jornell that I saw back, and we had plenty.
That's for a song I produced as well. That's for Good Things Happen with Lena. Like,
Good Things Happen. Jornell Pierre, they did a small clip, and I was like, me and Ease hadn't worked creatively yet, but we've been friends for a decade. We've been friends for almost a decade. So it was like we knew each other in many other mediums besides this. So it was our first time getting together like creatives. And I showed Ease the song because I told him I wanted an animated visual. He just called a vision. He was like, all right, I need a few shots of you. So all of that was from his mind, majority. Like a few still video shots, all hand drawn, took about 5 months. I mean, it's a 4-minute video, every sequence drawn by hand. Times was supposed to drop maybe fall this year. He just went so crazy because he got into the song. He was like, yo, I really like this song. He was like, yo, and he just started going. He got some software, helped him draw it on the tablet. He just did it faster. And we used some footage of me skydiving for a couple of those scenes. And then just most of that was me still. Like, he came up with all of that from his mind, just like from the head severed, from the mouth, just everything on. And if you watch the video, how the lyrics sync up with the animation is absolutely ridiculous. Everything hits a beat like perfectly. Like, it's just like not even off of us making a banger, just off of what Ease did. Like, that animation deserves to be watched. And then you throw the record in on top. It's like, wow. Like, I'm very proud of that piece of work from him.
That's something that's also unconventional about this project, is that literally the first song on the album is the single. And I think that's dope because it like gets it out of the way. You know what I mean? And now you could really focus on stuff you haven't heard before if you're listening for the first time. But Blast Away, I do want to talk about Recoil's, in parentheses, Blast Away. But that's one of those joints too that, like, I feel like once I get towards the end and the drums hit and that last hook comes in, it's like a celebration. It's like, this is meaningful. It's not just another record. Like, this is a song. Like, you ever notice the Grammys have record of the year and song of the year?
Right.
Like, whereas Times is like a record. There's no doubt about it. It's art and it's special, but it's still a record. But Recoils is a song. I don't know, like, if that's something you ever took into consideration in making the album, like the difference between making records and songs. Is that something you ever even thought about?
I guess not. Really, now that you break it down like that, I guess I just, the song is done.
Yeah.
To me, the song is finished. A record is like, we got this record we're working on. Yeah, I definitely feel like Blast Away or Recoils is a song. Yeah, people have told me they cried to it.
I could picture, like, 17-year-olds on TikTok with the acoustic guitar doing covers of that. You know what I mean? Because it's a well-written song, harmonically and lyrically, like, it could be probably translated to almost any other genre, from like acoustic to, I could picture a funk band playing that song, like a jazz band. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that can be reimagined. And then unconventionally, we kind of hit him with almost like a skit, like a song/skit, a record called Blocked, featuring Jordan Plain. And one thing that I wouldn't say bothers me about this record is the fact that it's pretty much a Jordan Plain record featuring Ronnie. Like, if that John was to just come out as a single, I feel like it would be Jordan Plain featuring Ronnie Riggles. Like, and then throwing it so early in the album, like, what was the inspiration behind giving him that kind of shine?
That John that's one of those moments for me you can't fake. So it was just like so real. Like, and it was like really all emotionally pent up. We downstairs talking about day, and we were our friend, man, yeah, let's go record. Yeah. And that's what really came out. And it was like, this is too raw. This is too genuine. Like, and I said early, that was the first song I said, that's going on the album. That stuck. There was a lot of songs that came in between that stuck. Because at one point I'm like, is this a Drop a Bag song? No.
And Jordan showed out on that. And then I think that kind of laid the groundwork for the way that y'all, formula-wise do songs, like where he'll kick off a hook and then you might do the same hook in a different way. Like, you guys definitely have a really natural, good sound together. I guess that comes from not just friendship, but also from previous collaboration. It's like you kind of know what the other person's looking for in terms of that collab.
It's relatable. It's like perspective in this generation, it's
it's like, it just doesn't sound like anything you heard before because it's a manipulated sample.
That was the thing. We heard that beat, that was, we go through a crazy pack. We immediately was like, it was different, bro. That beat's amazing.
I'm very proud of that production, but I'm even more proud of the next song, Let You Know. Like, I in my heart kind of feel like that could be the next single. And that's different. That's one of the first songs I feel like we did where you typically do a melodic hook, but then you rapping on the verses.
Right.
That song has a melodic, sing-songy second verse.
Second verse, and then the intro is kind of, majority of that I only do like, I think, a couple bars of rapping.
So my question for you is as you move forward doing music, either with me or with any other producer, how do you see yourself in the future balancing the melodic stuff with the rap stuff? Like, do you see yourself ever doing like a whole melodic project? Like not R&B, but
I think I'll have to tap in, bro. I could see it because the ability is there, but I would really have to get better, like keep working, you know what I mean, and be like comfortable with that. Like, all right, this gotta sound good. Like, it's gotta.
And it's crazy. It's unconventional. Like, you start the first verse with a bridge. A lot of people don't even really like know what a bridge is or what a pre-chorus is. Like, a lot of people just do verse hook, verse hook, verse hook. How did you learn about song formatting over the years? Like, how did you even like come up on doing bridges?
I started both verses off melodic, showing off like a car show. I don't know where I learned to do the bridge thing. I think environment growing up too. I did grow up listening to like going to work tours and shit and listening to R&B and like listen to punk rock. So like those melodies that stick with you, it's just like,
Yeah.
if you can catch a tone, if you can hold the note with your voice, it feels good. It may be not like, oh, he's not a singer, but his voice feels good. Music has no, you know what I mean? What feels good feels good. You know what I mean? That's the thing about music, it's a universal language.
You know, I guess that's pretty much side one of the album. And then there's the interlude, Chasing Stars.
So it makes you feel so much like the choir chop, which is just her own voice that y'all snap with, you know what I mean?
I'm glad you jumped on that record. And that kind of kicks off the second half.
Yeah.
You know, we're album bulls. So you know that album is because of how records used to be. You have side A and side B. Side B of your album it's kind of like star-studded, right? So side B kicks off with Rated R, featuring the legendary Raekwon of the Wu-Tang Clan. It's a really special record, and it's so unconventional. Before each of your verses, there's like a whole 4-bar drop. Like, and I remember like I moved your vocals over once in one of the early mixes, and you were like, no, put that back. That was hot the way it was. Like, so I don't know, like maybe you could talk about the inspiration behind the arrangement of that record. And then what made you be like, all right, I got to get Raekwon on this record?
Oh, that's the thing. Chef actually picked the record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I sent them the pack, Rated R, like 3 other songs done, and like 15 beats that were open.
And I've really studied Wu-Tang production. So it's like for Ray to pick it, and I didn't know this, for him to pick a track out of a pack that was a beat that was really inspired by them. I mean, were you also like me influenced by Wu-Tang Clan? And what did it feel like when he picked that record?
It was surreal, man. Early on, when I really started studying the history of hip hop, because I grew up on hip hop, but obviously when I started rapping, it was different. It's like, all right, the Book of Wu is one of the first. Like I still got it. You know what I mean? I still got that joint in my house. Like that introduced me to Supreme Mathematics, Supreme Alphabet, all of that stuff. So all the Wu was like just knowing this gang of legends, like integral, what they mean to hip hop. You know what I mean? What they mean to rap music.
Yeah.
You know, in high school, honestly, my first, like I said, I wasn't put on the Cuban Links till later, so I studied them like as a group. My favorite rapper growing up was Kanye West. So on his album Dark Fantasy, the last verse, he does 3. I'm like, why is he doing 3 verses? I'm like, why is he? I'm like, because it just was dude at the end. I'm in high school, like, this dude, my favorite is going crazy. And I always knew Ray's verse word for word. That's how I first got on Raekwon. I'm like, just stuff like that. There are pillars in hip hop. And then to notice, these guys are just spread out through many legends albums because they're Wu-Tang. And it was like, wow. You know, once the opportunity came, some opportunities you got to take it and shoot the shot. Like you said, people waiting in line, but love, you know what I mean? And
shout out to Raekwon for showing love to the independents. He shows love, man. Like he's down to work.
That's love, man.
Humble.
That's what we need.
Man, shout to the Wu-Tang Clan, man. Yeah, I hope in the future that y'all cook up some more. I would love to hear some more Ronnie and Raekwon, man. Like that record, that record is something special, man. Like, and Raekwon is like, to me, like the king of saying like the wildest bars, but making them sound like they're so like regular. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like he's so slick with it. You know what I mean? Like he might be saying the wildest John, but it sounds so slick and under the radar, man. People are going to study that record, man. I'm looking forward to it. But I do want to talk about, I guess what's going to be the next single, the next video is, funny enough, a song we already put out called Stargazing. The cream of the crop. Like that is the biggest, boldest, grandiose record that's on this album. Again, it's a balance of melody and rap, but it's very Kanye inspired, very flashing lights, pop, hip hop. Like I was mad. Not mad, but I was like a little disappointed that you dropped that during Drop a Bag Drive.
I was too. I was like, yo, you know what? And I was so scattered. That's why I was gonna do it better this year, organized. I'm like, I'm thinking we ran out of records. I'm looking back at the vault. We had plenty of records we dropped in that place. but I was also like, well, I don't want to just drop any record. I want to keep the quality up. But that was definitely like, that was a preemptive decision to drop that song. Because I knew from the time we made it that it was one of the best joints.
Yeah, and obviously the cost of living version, as opposed to the single version, it's really an album version of a single. Like, we really upped the production. Like, there's changes in the beat, there's drops that weren't there before. Not only that, we went in and kind of recreated, like, we extended the record for the video.
Yeah.
The video that you've put together for this and the way that I composed and arranged the song, it's really like, it's something kind of magical. I don't want you to give too much away because I'm so excited for people to see this video, but maybe you could tell them what to look forward to.
It's very good. It's there. Just be ready to be entertained. Our stargazing visual is going to keep you intrigued the whole time.
Yeah.
It's shot beautifully. Look for great shots.
Yeah, it really is. The look of it is cinematic for sure.
And that's it's a marriage of cinema and music. Like, honestly, like, that's what it is. The stargazing, and
yeah, look forward to that. It's not a music video. It's definitely a short film.
That's for sure, bro. It's definitely a music video, kind of short. More than a music video, because it's just,
it's something I can't wait for people to see this. Like, this is, yeah, I could actually see like a whole release party just for that video. Like, you renting out a small theater and playing it on a giant screen for people. Like, that's very special. That kind of like brings us towards the end of the album. The last couple songs, I feel like they're almost open to interpretation. Like, I feel like Rebel, Regalia, and Ghost in the Shell, like, I almost want to hear what the people got to say about those records. I don't really want to talk about them. I want to hear what the people got to say. Like, I need to text.
Yeah, I want to know how, if people receive those messages and how. Because I know we know them. Like, those are you was in the studio. You know what I mean? So you know.
Yeah, and you said trips to the beach. Yeah, I love that for me. And then what did we do? To basically celebrate finishing and mixing the album, we took a trip to the beach. You know what I mean? We was at St. Pete Beach, like literally on the water. You know what I mean? Like, it's something in music. I feel it's very important to use projection. A lot of people might cap. They'd be like, "Yeah, I wrote this record while I was on the beach," but they were in the studio. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't really write the record on the beach. But you said something like trips to the beach. I love that for me, and then it happened. You know what I mean? Like, it was manifesting on wax. So that kind of brings us to the end of the album. I mean, that's it's one hell of a project, man. I'm so excited for people to hear this. Is there any other thing that maybe in the album I missed as a producer? Like lyrically, are there any Easter eggs or metaphors or bars? Is there anything that you're really proud of that maybe I might not know about?
I think the Koufax bar was going to fly over a lot of heads. The Sandy Koufax curveball. If you go back and listen to Rated R and Google Sandy Koufax, that's I like bars that I don't think people are going to catch it. Because I said it to my dude told me earlier. He was like, "What the fuck?" He just started freaking out. He's like, "Oh," because I knew he would peak. And I think that's one, hit the curve like Koufax. I don't think people are. But I've seen clips of his curveball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think. Not only that, but Koufax was someone in sports. It's only happened a handful of times in sports where someone's really stood up for their morals and their values above the money and above the game. And when we do music, when you do art, it's kind of like a visualization of your morals. So to throw a Koufax bar in there, that's high-minded, man. That's pretty crazy. Any other Easter eggs? Anything else hidden in there that the people might not catch?
Find them. If somebody asks me about them, because there's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. I feel like I feel like I try to write in triple entendres or quadruple entendres. So, like, you know what I mean? Not that I want it. I just want to be able to say something that still sounds good, but it means 4 different things in a minute. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can interpret it but in a way that, you know what I mean, makes sense.
I feel like there's maybe a couple, I wouldn't say shots or disses on there, but there's definitely like some bars that I'm sure there's some bars that I'm sure are about people. You know what I mean? Like, based on reality.
There are definitely bars about people, and anybody who wants to ask, And
Yeah,
then
if the
add
shoe
my
fits,
little,
if the shoe fits, you know what I mean?
yeah, hit dogs holler, man. Hit dogs holler. That's all I'll say. You
Or I'm really interested in seeing what people are going to say over the next couple days, like as people really
know,
listen.
I feel like right now we got it on lock, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's as far as the underground, especially, man. I feel like right now we at the top of that, and the next level is, crack this festival thing,
Yeah.
get into it.
Yeah, it takes one. Once you get on one, then they all come together. I know how that works. You know what I mean? This is hip hop. So let's talk about this new crew that you were very a pillar of putting together and building. You know, art, we talk about art like you're throwing paint on the wall, but at the same time, you want to build a foundation. You want to build a house. You want to build a high rise that people can grow and live into. And this thing called the Cooligans, we've been talking about it throughout the interview, but let's get to it, man. Tell the people, what is the Cooligans?
Like I said, it started me and Fate, and we wanted to be on originally some like Philly Outcast shit, right? So just us two. And we
Oh,
was like,
wow.
we felt like we had the sound
I
for
didn't
that.
know
Like,
that.
we could go, you know what I mean? It was us. And then I was like, I feel like we could make it a team. I said to Faye, I feel like we can make it a team, like on some Justice League type shit, some super, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah, because it's not just music artists, it's like a collective.
it's a collective. It's there, creative community. You know what I mean? 10 vocal artists, about 4 or 5 producers. Our creative director, Bougie Mustard. We also got Jordan, who does rollouts. Pat does rollouts. Our DJ Tia, our cinematic director, Darian. It was after Bougie's Neighborhood, Big Bougie Neighborhood. I met a lot of the artists, and then it was just like it all came together. I came to Bougie first, and I was like, the ideology is just that everybody can be cool who's not on that fuck shit. Like genuinely, like genuinely.
Dead ass.
We don't know what that is, so it doesn't have to be like. Just that being said, it was every and I genuinely feel this, and I'll go to war for all of their pins that they're the top 10 spitters in the world right there, man. I'm telling you, top 10 spitters right there, and I'll go to bat for all of them because it's just like to see superstar power and everybody be able to share ego. That type of power is like
in a place like Philly. Come on, it's unheard of. It's unheard of.
Tried it, and it worked. Everybody shares the ego because we want the best, and we realized it's about the art. So we didn't go where the Cooligans and have no art. No, we sat. We just did sessions for the first 3 months before we even thought about. We did anything. Let's get music. Let's get pictures. Let's get freestyles, free video visuals.
Yeah.
Let's get content. Let's roll that shit out the right way. We rolled it out. People taking a liking to it, man, and I really appreciate the love.
Yo, the aesthetic for people that aren't tapped in yet, but go follow at the Cooligans. The aesthetic is very old school 90s hip hop. Even a lot of the beats that y'all are choosing to record on are like throwback, whatever you want to call them. It's like more stripped down, just straight backpack rap. You know what I mean?
We'll do a mix of the backpack, and then we'll go left with a trap sound, then we'll combine them both because there's so many sounds. Like we just added the newest member. That's the last one for a while. There's 13 of us now.
That's a lot.
13 of us, but everybody's a superstar. And I wholeheartedly stand on that. Any Cooligan spitter can spit with anybody. Like that's just and they wouldn't be a Cooligan if not.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a part, like, you know what I mean?
And I dig that, like, y'all are cool, but not too cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
we're
like
not too cool for anybody.
It's like as a group and as individuals, you're embracing the quirkiness of each other's personalities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the music, I mean, it's been about 2 months now that y'all have been dropping music. And and I see every week I see it growing and developing. And you know, the part of joining that many different heads together, obviously, like just mathematically opens you up to that many more fans. You know what I mean? Like a fan of this person is now going to be a fan of that person. And just really, I got to show so much respect to that movement. We got to figure out how to get everybody together to do another interview. I got to interview the whole crew. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The fact that you guys are putting some of your individual interests aside to bring this collective together is such a beautiful thing. I see it coming, man. I see it coming for y'all. And you got your first performance with the Cooligans this weekend for your release party. That's special, man.
July 2nd from 9 to 1 at BBR radio station 319 North 11, right off 11th from Cattle Hill. Anybody watching the next couple days?
So we went through a lot, man. This has been one of the longest interviews I've ever done. This is more of a conversation than an interview. You know what I mean? And like I said, like we know each other, so it's not like I'm just interviewing some random dude that's hot on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like this is we're in a community. We're in even though I'm in Florida right now, like I still consider myself a part music wise and creative wise of what's going on in Philly. I like to think of myself as like an OG influencer. You know what I mean? Even stuff I'm not a part of, even if I just maybe introduce some people together, I still feel like my spirit is a part of what they create. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing. So I really want to thank you for taking a lot of time today to sit down and get this all out. I do have just a couple more questions. You know what I mean? We just went through a lot. You know what I mean? A lot. But what's next? Maybe you can tell the people that's tuned in. What's next for Ronnie Riggles?
I know we're gonna tuck that. I don't want to tell them, but we got some hits. We got some stuff to still. This rollout's not done. That's what's next. We're gonna keep working. This rollout's not done. We gotta finish the singles. We're gonna push this at least through the year, man. This is a big album. So we're gonna push this. And then
I feel that.
we're gonna push this album, you know what I mean? And Cooligan's album is up next after that, but we always know in the back of my mind that solo, that next album, you know I'm tucking the name. You know I already got the name.
Good.
I'm not saying it, you know what I mean?
But no rush. No rush.
But that's what's next. A big year, work. We're gonna throw some festivals this summer. We're gonna throw more shows. We're gonna work hard, man. More work with the homeless, more community initiatives. That's what's next, man.
Bet. You know? Yeah. So I gotta ask, what's up with September? Are we dropping another bag? Like, what's going on with Drop a Bag Drive?
We're gonna plan it. It's definitely gonna get planned in July. We'll execute planning in August as well, just similar to last summer. Yeah. And I think we're definitely going to bring it back, but bigger this time. It's going to be more than just me. So I don't want to, you know what I mean, give it away, everything, because creatively there's going to be some stuff we still got to package up. It's going to be better than last year, though, for sure.
All right, so beyond, like, what's next? What's, like, in the future? Like, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, where do you see this music taking you? And is there anything else that you want to get into?
I see the music opening up a platform for me to really change the world. Like genuinely, like I think this art is a way for me with my groups of friends to really like influence the world in a way that's not to chase fame, but really to make a change. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
oh yeah, like I could picture like 5 years from now, like the Cooligans Community Center.
Yeah.
And it's like a place where like young creatives can go like be cool and create. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I feel that.
You know what I mean? And that's community. That's what's next. And I love acting, modeling is cool. So any mediums of the art, if I'm making art and able to sustain and elevate and help people at the same time, that's where I see this taking me over the next 5, 10, 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So other than that, is there any other, maybe just personal, is there any other future goals that you have for, you know, growing as a creative?
This is really my life, man. I wake up every day, I eat, breathe, and sleep this. That's really my goals is all based on my passions at this point as an adult. You know what I mean? I got to move forward, work on my discipline, and stay focused, keep my head down.
What up, man? It's been a lot. I try to do these rapid fire questions at the end of all my interviews. So like, don't even think, just whatever is like the first thing that come to your mind. Yeah. That's what it's going to be. All right, rapid fire with crates. Let's go. Indica, sativa, or hybrid?
Hybrid.
Brown, clear, or beer? Go to the movies or Netflix and chill?
Movies.
Okay. Nike, Adidas, or local brands?
Local.
Okay. Is there any local brands that you want to shout out?
Shout out to Irk Type B. Who am I? Ooh, FaZe Lemonade. My guy Dirty Work. Motherland Cafe. That's a catering more so food.
Philly has one of the best, what I consider creative communities. It's not really just about rap. It's not just about music. it's a lot of people that are trying to find ways to monetize the culture in an authentic way. So I salute anybody that's just trying to get to it and build a brand. So outside of rap and hip hop, like what's your favorite like music genre to listen to?
Oldies.
Oldies, yeah, like soul, oldies.
Okay, I'm
And
sorry.
and now it's like a new era, right? So like when you're riding in the car, like are you doing radio or are you doing podcasts?
Somebody just put me on the podcast, which I'll try more. But usually I'm music up. But sometimes I ride in silence. So I
Yeah.
think as opposed to music, I think I want to.
This pandemic is coming to a close. People are starting to get back on tour. If you could hop on a plane right now and perform a concert in any city in the world, where would you want to go?
London.
Yes. Let's go to London. I ain't never been there. I want to go. Let's go. Let's,
London. Running up
let's
already.
go. Let's go. And then kind of like the last question, I like to wrap up interviews like this, man, because I feel like a lot of the hip hop since 87 audience that I see is young artists. And they try to like watch these interviews to pick up game. You know what I'm saying? So if there's like any words of advice or any game you could kick to the young artist out there that's tapped in, what's some advice you could give?
I would say keep that shit genuine, man. Keep your energy genuine.
Mhm.
Preserve your peace and stay focused. Easy to get distracted, I know, man. Especially being an artist, but like find some stride of focus. Just keep on course. Like keep like make a point all the way up there, even if it's 50,000, if it's in space. Keep
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't even say chase that point. Just get to a place where you're manifesting yourself to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like if you treat your passion like an actual job, like you'll get paid off of it. Like if you're literally spending 8 to 10 hours a day on your music and marketing and promotion, you're going to get a return on that, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So I agree, man. Just being consistent is hard, but nothing great ever comes easy. We know that. You know what I mean? But yeah, cost of living, man. Congrats again to you, Ronnie Riggles.
Thank you for having
Um,
me, man.
Man, maybe you could tell the people. I know you said that you're not super into social media, but maybe you could tell people where to follow you and what social you're most active on, so they can kind of get at you.
Instagram and Twitter is usually what I'm on. You find me at Ronnie Riggles, RonnieRiggles on everything, everywhere, on all streaming platforms. Ronnie Riggles. Pretty sure I'm the only Ronnie Riggles. So, you know what I mean? Should
That's
be
good. There can only be one.
one.
Only one. And man, do you got any other shout outs? I know we did a couple earlier, but you got any other shout outs? Like any people you want to thank? Anything like that?
Thank my family, my mother, my father, my sister, my nana. You know what I mean? My immediate family. You know, JP, Booze, you. You know what I mean? All of the Coolgans, Fade. I got Zach, Arvell, John. Everybody, Jamil, my cousin. You know, just everybody who's been there for me in capacity, like they know who they are. You know what I mean? I don't want to just say rambling everybody.
But what you just said is true. Like it really takes a village. You got to have support to like get to a better place in life. Like without it, we'd all be nothing. You know what I mean? Even if it's just one person in your corner, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's real talk. All right, well, Ronnie Riggles, man, like, yo, we out. I can't wait for people to watch this.
I'm
And
about to listen to the album now. We done talked it up first all this time. I'm ready to listen to it.
oh
Watch
yeah,
it.
I'm about to grab my dog and take a long walk and go on Spotify and listen to that pup, man, because I've been listening to the album on my on my own iTunes. You know what I mean? For like a while now, so I'm excited to like go online and listen to that, John. And I'm excited to see where the future goes for you, man. I really feel like there's blessings coming your way to reward you for all the work that you've been putting in, man. So, you know, from myself as a homie and a producer to everybody at Hip Hop Since '87 that's been following the journey, man, like salute to you.